Hey everyone, welcome back. We took a week off last week, primarily because there wasn't really much to talk about and we didn't want to just ramble. And then, of course, we take 1 week off, and then there's so much news, it's unbelievable. So,
Yep.
yeah, okay, so Tim, why don't you give us an overview of Gamescom, just like, some of the big things that got announced or whatever, and then we'll focus in on some of the Nintendo news that's been making the waves, because I got a lot to say about that.
Well, one of them is, according to Jared, he's been waiting for the rest for his whole life as He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah,
So it's
baby!
awesome.
Woo!
Yeah, it actually looks really good. And there's not only that, but hold on, there's another. So yeah, retro games are really big right now, and I can see why because people are just tired of a lot of the triple A stuff, and it's
Yeah,
good to
well,
see.
dude, you
Yeah,
can't
Masters of the
leave
Universe.
He-Man like just like that. You gotta come on, a
Oh
little
no,
like.
Oh well, it's okay. So I'm pretty sure everyone's seen it, but it's a side old school kind of 16. Well, it's better. I think it looks much better than 16-bit, but it's like a 16-bit side scroll arcade beat 'em up. It looks really really cool. But the best part of it was its intro video because it had like classic
Mm.
80s a commercial with kids playing their He-Man live action dolls, and they're talking and
Hey,
playing,
hey,
and then they
hey, they're
show the
not
gameplay.
dolls. They're action figures.
Action figures. Yeah, so that was anyone who grew up in the 80s and
Yeah.
90s. They knew that brought a smile to their face, even if you're not a gamer anymore. But yeah, that was a great trailer. I love seeing this more retro approach, and I'm also good to see the bunch of these old series that Jared and I grew up with. I mean, you young kids today probably don't even know who He-Man is, but yeah, him, Thundercats, RoboCheck First Gen, G.I. Joe, all these classics that we grew up on. And it was just the trailer was the best part of it. I'm sure the game will be great, but I kind of they got my money just on that awesome
Well,
retro
dude,
with a little kid. I
dude,
mean
I am
that was
going.
classic.
I'm gonna show you something. So go on Discord. It's 30 seconds. Watch that.
All right, let me see.
So
Oh, it's a little loud.
it's okay if it's loud. We
All
can't hear it.
right, let's look. Masters of the Universe.
Yeah. Let's see his live reaction.
In Japanese. Oh, this is a live reaction. Okay.
Live.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of different languages too. Nice.
But do you hear? Are you listening?
I didn't hear any people, but I did hear a bunch
No,
of
I'm saying
music, and
your
it's a.
live reaction. It's so, guys. What I just sent him was we got like a short time ago. We got the Masters of the Universe, the new movie that's being made, and it was just the title of the movie. But they had the original music that's been like
Yeah.
epically like brought up, and I was like, no way. I was like, the movie could be
Oh, see,
complete
I wish.
garbage.
Yeah, I would have. I thought that was just part of the
Oh, how awesome is that?
hype for the
Like,
game.
I
Yeah, that is awesome, dude. And
and
it comes out next June. It looks like 26.
yeah,
So.
and so like I'm going to see that even if it's garbage. I don't
Oh,
care.
it will be
Oh,
garbage,
I'm
dude. It
sure
will
it
be
will be,
garbage, but
but
that's not the point. That's
yeah,
not
I'm
the
like, I
point.
just don't care. I had goosebumps
But
just from that
Oh yeah,
music.
yeah. Like I said, because you have to remember, guys, that Jared and I's generation are the ones in charge right now, right? We're all in our mid to late 40s into the 50s, so we're the ones that are running these companies. We're the ones that are in charge for a little while. So that's why I think we're seeing a lot of these stuff that we grew up on
Yeah,
coming back to the to well, plus companies like doing that though. By the way, going to the next generation for
yeah,
merchandising,
yeah,
right? Getting the young kids hooked.
yeah.
It's just a cycle. But right now, our generations are in charge. We're the ones that are the one that grew up. They want to see it. But yeah, like I said, companies do this anyways. But yeah, Masters of the Universe game. I don't know if it'll be good, guys, but I have to play it.
It
And it's
looks
just like that
good
X Men.
though.
Yeah,
It
just like
looks
that
damn good.
Marvel Chaos. Oh yeah, it looks really good. Just like that Marvel
Yeah,
game that's coming out as well.
yeah.
I can't wait. So yeah, that was one of my highlights.
It
And
was one of mine.
the
Now,
reason.
wait. You can't just move on, and I can't even say anything. I
Oh,
gotta like.
Jerry.
So, guys, for a lot of the younger generation, you had to live through the mid 80s to very early 90s as a kid to really grasp how impactful Masters of the Universe was. It was huge. It was one of the very first toy phenomenons that was there. And funny enough, during that time period, Tom Kalinske was the CEO of Mattel, and under his belt, not only did he have Masters of the Universe, but he also was directly responsible for the resurgence of Barbie, because Barbie was going down at that time. And this guy had a 1-2 punch. And if the name Tom Kalinske sounds a little familiar, it's because Sega of America would hire him. And he is the reason why Sonic the Hedgehog was packed in with the Genesis. He's the reason why, Sega does what Nintendo don't. And he basically took a market that was 96 to 98% controlled by Nintendo and brought them down to like 55, 60%. That's huge. Yeah, unbelievable, right?
Yeah, so, people now know the console wars are over, so they don't know how impactful and how that Nintendo and Sega rivalry was so huge at the time.
Yeah, in North America, and it's incredible because it was like all wrapped around this one guy. And that's why I was so honored to have that interview, and I'm so happy that's on the channel.
Yeah, we have that on our channel.
Yeah, that was honestly, that was like a bucket list moment for me. Like, I always wanted to meet that guy because I was like so impressed with what he had done.
He did, yeah.
It was incredible. Anyways, with Masters of the Universe, the downside, guys, with Masters was always that it was the first. So it was like the precursor to your Transformers, your G.I. Joe, modern day G.I. Joe. Another one was huge at the time was Thundercats, and like there were so many. There were so many, but He-Man was the one that literally like it started it all. The whole craze, it was nuts. And the thing is, because it was the first, and yes, you could argue and say Star Wars toys were the first. That's true. That's absolutely true. But He-Man was like the first original IP that came out, and that whole concept of like having a cartoon that was actually a commercial aimed at children to buy toys this is where it all started. And why I give you this little micro history lesson is because gaming was still very early. Like, at least in terms of like the home consoles, you have to think that the NES was only released in 1985 and only really started to hit its stride 1986, and 1987 was like getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The thing is, He-Man was ending its run at around 1987, 1988. And like the live action movie with Dolph Lundgren that was made was in 1989, if I'm not mistaken. But that was already at the very, like, it was too late. That movie should have come out in 1987 and it would have been a very different story. But it was already like the hype and everything had already started to go down. Because if I'm not mistaken, He-Man was in 1981. If I'm not mistaken, I'd have to go back and check like when it originally debuted, but it was somewhere around there. And so the problem with that is that we never got a good video game. By the time like the property would have been, like game worthy, it was already over. And like kids were already moving on to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is another property that was a decade later. But that property benefited by being a decade later, because by being a decade later, it was perfectly in sync with the gaming culture at the time, which is why how many people remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade game, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, and so on and so forth. And that's not to say that would have happened with He-Man, but it's why I said
could have. Remember, Golden Axe would have been a good Universe game, right?
Precisely. So that's why I say, like, I've waited my whole life for this because
because Pegasus laughed at you when you said that because he probably doesn't understand.
But he
doesn't understand the
truth,
of it,
though.
So.
It's like if He-Man would have been a little later, we would have gotten something like this. Like that's what they used to do, right? Like that's why Turtles. Yeah.
I wonder if it's
Yeah.
could be really good. I wonder if it's co-op though. I didn't
Oh, it's gonna.
see any
Yeah,
information
for
on that.
sure, man. For sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
That'd be kind of cool. We could play. I don't know. I would buy it on Steam or Switch 2 though. Probably Switch 2. I don't know what we do. Well, maybe
Well, anyways, that
it's not even
game
out yet,
for
but-
me, like the day that comes out, I'm gonna be all over
Yeah,
that.
that's
Just,
gonna
just,
be. I'm
just for
telling you,
nostalgia.
man. The trailer alone got me hooked.
Yeah.
When I seen those kids playing the live
Yeah.
act, I'm like, oh shit, that's back. That's
Yeah.
a throwback. Such a great marketing tool. You know that they did that because it's like I said, our generation of fans of the
course.
series.
Of
Because
course.
a modern like 20-year-old marketing dude ain't. Well, they might research. That's their job to research to see what they could appeal to, because they want to appeal to us, right? They're not going to appeal to the young kids.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
Whatever.
Yeah.
They want to appeal to the older fans, the ones that grew up with us. So yeah, a good marketing team would have
dude,
probably.
we
done
got two badass games, man. We've got that Masters of the Universe game, which I'm so stoked for. Do we know when that's coming out, or just said coming soon? I think.
No, let me look.
Yeah, I think it was just coming soon. But while he's looking for
it was
that,
coming soon.
the other one is the Terminator 2
announced,
game.
yeah.
The Terminator 2 game
Oh!
looks sick, man.
Oh man, that's another one. That's been kind of talked about for a while though, Jared. That's not.
No, that's coming out.
really-
Yeah, no, that's not
Oh, I know.
Gamescom. That's not Gamescom. I'm just saying, like, that's another one for me that, like, I'm super stoked for, because
Yeah.
it's the same idea. Like, I played the Terminator 2 arcade games and stuff like that, and I loved it, but it's like back in those days, whenever they did like a RoboCop, like, type of video game or something like that, they always took liberties with it instead of just following the damn movie and stuff. And so this looks so good. If you haven't checked it out, I think it's called Terminator 2D Dark Fate or something like that.
Yeah,
Something like that. Anyway,
yeah,
it looks awesome.
That's been on my.
Well, that's been on my wish list for a while now.
Yeah. But there's also other games that obviously there's a bunch, but most of the bigger ones were like like Call of Duty, Black Ops 7, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Warhammer Dawn of War, though, that looks really, really cool. Warhammer series is mostly strategy type games, so if you're into that kind of stuff. Another thing too, which I'm sure Jared will play, is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, the Order of the Giants. The first game did well enough for them to make another one, which is great. Also, Ninja Gaiden and Delta Force, Silent Hill, Chronos, The New Dawn. The bunch of different. Oh, another one, Moonlighter 2. So that's something you might be interested in. The first game was really, really, really well received indie game. Oh, but the one other one I really liked was the Lego's Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Dude, tell me the parts from all the classic movies like the Joker and Bane and they replicated the Penguins, where the Penguin's getting away and he blows up and the Batmobile goes through the flame. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's
No, it looks good.
The Lego games. Yeah, the Lego games always tend to be very good times. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one because I love how they're humorous and they,
me too.
Kind of pay homage or nod to the source material. So, yeah, Lego Batman definitely going to be a great time, and it looks perfect. What platform to get it on? Let's see.
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be on everything. That one, I'm sure.
To be announced 2026. And it's going to be on Switch 2, Xbox XS, PC, and PlayStation. So everything under the moon. Unfortunately, no release. A lot of see, one thing, I don't know, man. I understand companies want to do hype, but sometimes these games are like a year and a half away. It's like, to me, that kind of kills your hype, right? It's like you get some, it's kind of like you could call it like a blue ball syndrome, right? You get all excited. Oh, what? Oh, so then you forget about it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. You know a lot more about marketing than me. Do you think it's obviously it works, but do you think announcing your game way too early kind of kills its hype? Or?
Well, I don't know about kills its hype, but it's definitely that is a huge gamble. What you always want to try and do is like do a build up, but you need to do a build up when you actually know when it's coming. If you don't do that, man, it's too easy.
Yeah,
it's too easy
exactly.
to just be like, I mean, how many games, dude, have come out in our lifetimes where you see a trailer and you're like, oh my god, that looks sick, and never comes out? Look at Perfect Dark.
Yeah,
It's a perfect.
Exactly. And exactly. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. I understand they want to get people all riled up and looking forward. Now, obviously, big IPs, from the big AAA, people are gonna keep that in the back of their mind. But I'm talking about your mid indie.
Yeah, I know.
But indies tend to release their info and a lot closer to release, which is good because they don't have the pull and stuff like that, especially if it's unknown. The new Resident Evil game looks pretty interesting, and it's coming out in February 20. See, this is what you do, February 27th, 2026.
Yeah, yeah, but dude, don't get me wrong. Like Batman, the thing is, like, you have a little more flexibility when you are kind of like established. Like the Lego games, they're pretty established, right? It's been decades.
Exactly. That's why I tell you, games like that have the luxury. But I'm talking about these other games that are
it's just look at Perfect Dark. That had a luxury too. Like it's a legacy franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's dead. It's so weird.
I wonder why I don't know about Microsoft, man. I think that game had a lot of potential and would have done well, but I don't know. Microsoft. That's one problem when you get big corporations, guys. They don't have patience. They want to see results.
Exactly.
If there's any kind of thing, just like what happened with Blizzard's survival game that had been in development for like 7 years, that's a long time. So if they didn't get enough ground, I can understand why they canceled, because big companies don't want. Oh, what do you mean you've been working on this 7 years? We poured this money. You poured this much money. Each one, you have nothing to show for it. Done. Go. So I can understand, but. That's bad management on Blizzard. That's a different podcast at another time. So Resident Evil, Ghost, another game I really saw and I'm really looking forward to. I think I linked to you. Long Gone, again, indie game, looks amazing, a pixel art type, but the way they do it just looks fast, top notch. Long Gone by Hillfront Games, to be announced on PC. So again, we don't know when this is coming out. They didn't even say 2026. That kind of hopefully will be out the next year. But yeah, it looks awesome, guys. Long Gone.
It does look good.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. I put that on my wish list, but unfortunately, there's no info, so probably not even coming out anytime soon, which is unfortunate. And then there's a bunch of other Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which we've talked about a couple times already. I'm really looking forward to that. That's on. Let's see. Do we got an official release date? I forget. Yeah, we do. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, actually, it comes out in about a month. Oh, awesome. September 25th, 2026. The only issue with this, it's on every platform known to man, by the way, which is good. Let me look it up because I think I saw it, and this is my concern. And let's just talk about it for one quick second here. One quick second, guys. I love kart racers. Mario Kart, they're cool when you play with your community like we have on Discord. We have a couple of people we play Mario Kart World. But this, Jared, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, $69.99 USD. I think that's a mistake, man. I think it should be $40 tops. I don't know. I mean, this is not Mario Kart franchise. They're not going to get away with $80 game, obviously, but even 70, I think that's a lot to ask for. And it's a multiplayer game. That's another thing too you have to be mindful of. Multiplayer games need a user base in order to find matches. Otherwise, you're going to sit there twiddling your thumb 10, 20 minutes, can't find a match. It will be, I believe it was confirmed, it will be cross-play, so that's amazing. Otherwise, it'd be dead on the water on each platform, basically. But let's not spend too much time, but what do you think? It's next month, the 25th, it comes out, but $70, dude? You think that's a little too ambitious?
Honestly, I think this is going to be our future, dude. Like, not saying that this is going to be our future in terms of like $60, $70, $80, but I think this is the future. Is like every publisher is going to be trying to see how much they can get, and like we've, honestly, we've talked about this so much, but like we have had it really good, guys. In gaming, we have had it really, really good. If you go back to, I always say this, but like my copy of Super Mario Brothers 3 from Zellers, I know, don't ask, it just happened, I was there, was $99.99. Like, we have had it so good for so
years,
long that this is inevitable, that, like, the publishers are going to be testing the waters, and we'll see. Like, honestly, whether or not, like, look at Microsoft, right? With, what was it, the Outer Worlds, or whatever it's called there, part 2. They tried, and then they retracted, like, almost immediately when they had zero pre-orders.
Because of the backlash. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
So,
that's what Jared, and I've told people on the podcast thousands of different times, especially with, like, the Pokemon fans, where they complain about how there's no innovation, but they keep buying. The only way you're going to get a message to these executives is not through comments on YouTube. It's by your wallet. You talk with your wallet, change happens, and people don't seem to understand that, right? Look at how much Mario Kart World, look at the backlash for its price. It doesn't seem to affect it. We'll see, because Sonic, I don't know if Sonic Racing has always been a big franchise to begin with, so it's a little bit bold. But anyways, but you're right, Jared. And it's just interesting that people don't realize that complaining online, or I don't know, maybe they do, but it's funny how fans complain, but they keep buying the same crap. But Call of Duty every year.
It's also hard, right? Like, it's hard to... It's hard. This whole topic is really, really difficult, because the problem is, what basis are we truly using? The internet? The internet is a fraction of the people that actually,
The only people that are vocal are extremely small minority of gamers. I know there's tons of thousands of comments, but the bulk of people are not online. The bulk of people are not sitting there reading every review, watching every review, getting feedbacks, going to Reddit. That's a very small percentage.
Let me just pull up one number just to give an idea, okay? All right. So the Mario Kart Reddit, okay, has 228,000 members. Guys, 228,000 members. Mario Kart has already sold more than 8 million probably by now.
Yeah.
It
was almost 6 million.
It was 6 million a month and a half ago or whatever.
This is a prime example, guys. And now Mario Kart World is a huge selling game, so that is going to bring in a lot more people than the average, retro gamers, indie game. But that just shows you that the percentage is very small. But people forget that too. You read these comments online, man, you just laugh, right? It's funny, man.
Exactly.
So funny. But anyways, we don't want to dwell too much on that. But anyways, yeah, it's good to see that the Outer Worlds 2, that the quote unquote Microsoft listening. No, Microsoft just was, oh shit, we're not supposed to cuss anymore. Oh damn, this and that. So
I told you, F-bombs. The S word is fine.
It's
the F-bombs that we get flagged for, and then that's the end of the show.
That's funny.
Okay.
Another thing too is John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, which is a game Pegasus Eye and some others have been looking forward to. Finally got to say that it's still in the works and coming out first quarter 2026 in their stuff like that. There was an actual beta and stuff too, but that was a game that Pegasus and I were talking, like, hey man, it's gone silent for a long time. Has it been canceled? No. Thinking of John Carpenter's, another game that was just announced is John Carpenter. It's Halloween, which is another ASIM. That this one's going to be a little bit different. Now, you all know I'm an ASIM fan. I have all Ilphonics games. I love them. We're not going to talk about it too much right now. We're definitely going to talk about it later. It's going to offer a single player and multiplayer experience. Single player, which is pretty much Evil Dead had a single player type thing, but it wasn't quite. It had a little story driven stuff where you would go, but it was very short. We don't know how long the single player story, but you will be playing as Michael Myers going through the 1978 movie and stuff like that. So it won't be just you doing a little task here and there, like a forced tutorial or whatever you want to call it. So it will be a full-fledged single-player game. We don't know how long it's going to be, but that's going to be interesting. We'll see. We'll talk about that more because the quote-unquote ASIM curse is real, and they love to exaggerate. A lot of these ASIMs just never get the long-term support, but they still, Elphonics is really good. They don't take their games offline. They still support them here and there, but not quite like Dead by Daylight. So, we'll talk more about that later. No release date. All we know is it's coming out next year. people are talking about probably realistically September, or most likely close to Halloween for,
that would make sense.
Halloween. So, but who knows? But the game's been being worked on for a while now, so it might be ready closer to release than not. But who knows? Again, I just hope it's not Halloween of next year, because that's a long time away. And have we just discussed? I hate when companies do that. It's like, oh wow, really? Over a year wait? Come on. Anyways, there's of course a lot more other games. We finally Jump Space, which is the rename for Jump Ship, is a game we've talked about. It's a co-op roguelike space game where you up to 4 people can go and do these missions. Its name just a couple weeks went from Jump Ship to Jump Space, and it has a release date of the 19th of next month. That's been just a little indie game that a lot of people have been following, myself included, and our community, like a few of us, are looking forward to it. So hopefully, they didn't announce a price, so I don't know. To me, that kind of seems like, the devs claim it will not be pricey, so that's good. We'll be knowing the roadmap and pricing very shortly. It's less than a month away from release, so it's within weeks, I'm assuming. That's really, really cool. Jared, you should take a look at it. It might be something you like. We could maybe play.
I'm waiting for you to get back into Fallout, and then I'll play whatever you want.
Oh, yeah, I got to get... But the thing is, I'm playing Dune's Awakening. You would love that game, but...
I'm sure, but I have priorities, man.
Yeah, you have your...
Okay, are you almost done with all your lists? Because I want to make sure we...
Oh, yeah, pretty much. There's a lot other games.
Of course, I'm sure there's hundreds of
Deliverance
games.
2, Legacy of the Forge. There's a bunch. We just don't have the time to list them. You guys could look it up. And
no one's coming here to like for that. Do want to let everyone know if there's certain games that I like my go-to games. So Fallout 76, you're gonna have a massive update coming up very soon. New season 23 starts on September 2nd, so just over a week away.
Maybe I'll join back then.
That one's really cool because this season they introduced fishing into Fallout 76. I've been having a blast. Pretty much did everything I can do with fishing.
Oh, maybe this weekend we could. Anyways, game I've been a little sidetracked. I'm looking at Steve. I wanted to look at the Fallout thing. Anyways,
okay.
The thing is, how's the fishing? Is it well done, or is it
gimmicky? No, it's really good.
I'm going to reinstall it, dude. We'll mess
good.
around.
Because
I love Fallout 76, guys. It's just, the problem is I don't have a lot of time gaming in general.
That's all.
And I have another, by the way, you know this. I think I told you. I have another puppy I'm picking up next week. So my time's very limited, and I have these core games that I had to keep up with. So it's tough to get. Jared knows this. He has the business. Of course. He knows how tough it is to. Plus, I'm studying for certification for like my Google admin credential, Google administration, and then AWS. So there's a lot. I don't have as much free time as I have. So it's tough to.
Dude, it is so tough.
It's just tough to get time to dedicate to
it,
right?
Exactly. So okay. So season 22, right? Wait a second. Let me go into our Discord. I just want to make sure I'm not lying to everybody. I posted it the other day. Okay, no, sorry. Okay, so season 21 is what I'm playing right now, which is Gone Fission, which is funny. They always do that, like a little play on these words. So that introduced fishing. And season 22 is called Modern Living. And they've redone the entire user experience, user interface for building camps. It is awesome. I can't believe it's taken them 7 years to do this, but it's awesome. I'm so happy that they're doing this. So the whole season is obviously going to be all about that. Like, it's all going to be about building your camp and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the big one. So we have all of September, all of October, and all of November. And that's about right. Like, it took me about 2 months and a week of just doing dailies and weeklies to unlock everything in the season. Now that's about 40 minutes a day is what
That's not bad.
Yeah, something like that. Like if you get good dailies, you can do it in about 20 minutes. The weeklies, because the weeklies are connected to the dailies, it's usually really simple. You don't even need to like focus, just play the bloody game. And then, if you guys haven't seen the season 2 trailer of the Fallout TV series,
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
just got released. And
I like how they had the Vegas.
Oh, I like how they had the death claw at the end where she's like, I leave this to you to like tell me what to do, and you just see him bolting. I love that. I was like, that's hilarious. Man,
I love I love the whole I hope they do more of that where they show that Gould's past when he was in before the war
I'm sure
happened.
they are.
So,
yeah, I'm sure they are.
That was really cool.
Okay, so the big news is, and we don't know exactly what they're doing, okay? But they have been teasing for a while that season 23, to coincide with season 2 of the show, will be the largest update they have ever done to Fallout 76. Now, guys, if you have played Fallout 76 for any amount of time, that is saying something, because we have already had 2 big map expansions that were released. I think even more. Then they did the expeditions. I think it was 2, maybe 3. Anyway, whatever. And I can tell you exactly where it is. So if you go on the map and you look at the left-hand side of the map, so you, Tim, like if you do reinstall the game, take a look at the left-hand side of the map and you'll see a little bridge. I've talked about this before, but
you see it being built.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're gonna unlock that whole side is gonna get unlocked. And if they do that, oh man, that's going to be a lot of content, like a lot of content. And I think that is the plan, because it would make sense why the last 2 expansions or updates or whatever you want to call them have focused on like sort of like a core feature. Like one was fishing, right? So you don't really need to do new areas and stuff like that. It's just part of the core offering. Now they're doing camp revamp, which again it's just a core feature. So that's bought them almost a full year. That's given them 6 months. But even the update before, which was Become a Ghoul, well, again, wasn't anything fancy type of thing. It was basically like, think of it like a new class. That's the best way of explaining it, that they released. So I wanted to talk about that just really, really quickly. And so that comes out not this coming Tuesday, but the next Tuesday. And then the big one, for Jared anyway, is on on the 27th. So on the 26th at lunch, Dragon Quest X V7.5, that's just the way they do it. So think of it like their big patch. Gets released, and it's a big one. Not only are they pushing the like it's part 1 most likely, they haven't confirmed, but it's most likely part 1 of the end of the expansion. So the last 2, I think it was the last 2 expansions, they did 7.51 and 7.52. But this time they've announced that 7.6 is coming, but that doesn't, who cares? If it's still the same logic, then this will be the precursor to the end of that expansion, which means we should hear something coming up soon, because it would mean that next year, for the 40th anniversary of Dragon Quest, we should get V8, which would be the new expansion, whatever that's called. And it's this one that's coming out on Wednesday at noon for me, but it's whatever Japan time is on the 27th. We get new story, the revamping, all whole whackload of different different content like dailies, weeklies that they have. They're updating a bunch of that stuff. And the big thing is they have an entirely new class that called the Hermit that is being, it's sort of like it's a party buff healer kind of mid class. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. And that's what's happening with me over the next 2 weeks. So you guys, I hope I don't bore you to tears. Tim, it's your job to tell me to shut up. So hopefully I don't bore everybody, but obviously, like, I'm really looking forward to those two things. And now we have our Nintendo news, man.
Yeah, so Nintendo, they did have Metroid Prime 4 playable, but before that, kind of we talked about here, it kind of proves that there wasn't a lot for Switch 2, that maybe you're right, Jared, that the third party don't have access to the dev kits, must not be out there, because interesting. And then we also going to talk about Kirby, which had its own direct just recently, but Metroid Prime 4, it was playable, but the thing is according to Jared, is the same demo that they released before. So
yeah, okay, so let's do this in order. So guys, third party is getting a little weird. We're getting more and more access to games, right? And like I like different events. So Elden Ring was playable and Final Fantasy Remake was playable. Final Fantasy Remake, people are like, wow, like it's a really good port. It looks great and yada yada yada. And Elden Ring, I'm sure you guys heard by now. I'm sure you've seen the footage, because in Canada they're allowing you to do off-screen footage. At Gamescom they did not allow you to do off-screen footage, but because in Canada they did, wah wah wah, you can see the frame rate is god awful. And it's just, Namco Bandai is not a bad developer. I think they just didn't have access, or this team didn't have access to the dev kits, because it just doesn't make any sense. And meanwhile, Square Enix, which I guarantee you, Square Enix had the first dev kits available after Nintendo. I guarantee it, because both of those companies are so pro-Japan, like Japan established, that I guarantee you, like Capcom, they had those kits like day one. Street Fighter 6, right?
Yeah,
6. Runs really well. So I don't look at this. Some people are like, "Oh my God, it's the end of the world." I'm like, guys, you're not using your brain. It's gonna come down to these dev kits. If you don't have much time, if Elden Ring, for example, had years of development time for the PlayStation and for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 upgrades and stuff like that, and they only had 6 months or something like that, it explains it. It just explains it. What I hope that they don't do is, I hope they don't release it. I do hope that
I hope not, because that series is pretty hardcore fan base, so I don't think they'd be
well, yeah, and let's not forget they have an exclusive coming from them. So I just think everybody woosah, breathe, everybody. I think it's just this is the situation that we're seeing. We haven't seen any Microsoft games, right? We know they're coming, but we haven't seen them yet, which again...
Yeah, that's so weird. Microsoft be the last person to...
Well, and I get that. I can get that. If they still view them as a quasi-competitor or something like that, okay, fair enough. But we do have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming out on Switch, and from what we've seen anyway, it looks really good. So I don't think this is all doom and gloom and the world is over and all of this. I just think this is a case of by next year. By next year, I think things are gonna smooth out. And honestly, I do think that even with Nintendo, I think that internally there's some stuff going on, and we know that we talked about this, that this generation was going to be difficult for Nintendo as developers, not sales, none of that stuff, but just as developers, that this was going to be a difficult transition, because everyone else transitioned a generation ago. right? And so they learned how these 4K assets can really hamper your game if you don't do this correctly.
Sure.
And I think
Right.
it's what you're seeing with Metroid. So I'm going to skip and we're going to go into Metroid. So Metroid was playable at Gamescom, and it's been playable actually for a very long time. In fact, it's been playable for months. It was one of the very first games that was playable for the Switch 2 to show off the mouse. And I don't know why we're seeing so many articles online of folks saying like how amazing it is, it plays so well, and they leave out one little caveat, and that caveat is it's the exact same demo that's been playable for like 3 or 4 months. And so, well, maybe not 3 or 4 months, but like ever since the Switch 2 was formally announced, and that has me a little worried, because I am wondering if they've run into trouble here. Because if we look at the release schedule, Nintendo does not, for big games anyway, does not say, oh, and by the way, it's out today. They don't do that. That's not Nintendo. So that means the earliest that this game could come out is December. And
Yep.
that's worrisome to me because we've known about this for a very long time now. So
God, why is this game having so many hiccups?
I don't know,
Because you
man.
remember about the rumors too that it missed some development milestones.
that's
And
it. Exactly.
I don't know why Nintendo just doesn't say, "Hey, it's going to be it's going to be delayed."
I don't know. I really don't know. So I'm a little worried about that, guys. And the other thing I was telling Tim the other day was that you can't have Metroid Prime. As much as I am a big Metroid fan, okay, I'm also like I can read the room, right? Like here, let's take a look at something just to show you quick. So the highest selling, okay, highest selling Metroid game of all time is which one?
It has to be the NES one.
It's Dread. Okay?
Really?
Yeah. Don't look it
Well,
up.
that makes sense.
Don't look it up. How many millions did it sell?
I bet it sold a little over 1 million.
It sold 3. Okay?
Okay, so that's not that good. Well,
For
that's not that bad.
Nintendo, you got to
Dang,
put
that's
everything
really
in
bad.
perspective,
Yeah,
right? You had a console that 150 million sold, and it sold 3 million and change. Why I keep telling everyone this is I'm like, guys, Metroid doesn't sell. It's not, that's not being a fanboy or anything like that. It's just, I don't know. I've never understood why Metroid doesn't sell better than that. Like I never understood because it has such a vocal presence online. But again, it comes back like how many of these people actually buy the game, right? If it's 220,000 people on Reddit, whoop-de-doo, that's not gonna do it. So my point is that won't be their tentpole release. It's just not gonna happen. They're not gonna do that, and it's why they don't do that anymore. Like they haven't done that since the GameCube games when like Prime was first announced with Fusion and they had that combo thing. They saw it right away that it was like even after all these years, all the hype, people dying to play more Metroid after Super Metroid, the games didn't sell. And so they're like, okay, well, like this is not gonna be a AAA, sort of
Franchise, yep.
like budget. Like we're not gonna do that. So anyways, I'm just saying that like could it come out in December? Absolutely. Am I surprised that November is Kirby Air Riders? Hell yes I am. And we'll switch into that because the Direct was awesome. I actually really liked the Direct. It was really good. But
Yep.
Sakurai himself at the beginning of the Direct is like, you may be wondering why I'm doing like a racing game when 2 months ago a racing game was released, and not just any racing game, but Mario Kart, right? Like the king of the racers. And he's like, I was wondering that too. Like, you know, and he got asked to do it and he's a fan and all of that. So like I get it, but I'm very surprised that this was not a next year release. Like I'm just very, very, very surprised that this is going to be Nintendo's holiday big tentpole release. And when I say that, I'm not saying that because of lack of quality or anything like that. I'm just surprised because at the end of the day, it's another racing game.
Racing game,
And
yeah. Well, obviously, it's different from Mario Kart, guys, but yeah, it's just too close. It doesn't make sense. But
yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, Nintendo probably just doesn't have anything else ready, man. I think that's what it is. But
Yeah,
even
it
then,
might be.
why would they choose to release it? Just, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense because I think personally it's going to hurt Kirby's sales. But we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Because the thing is, dude, if that bundle is still there, see, this is what I'm thinking. If that bundle is still around, which I'm assuming they're going to phase out because now they have the Pokemon bundle, but if that bundle is still readily available, then I really worry about Kirby sales because I don't get it. If you, like, I don't know anyone that would buy a Switch 2 to have two racing games. Like, I don't get that.
And let us know in the comments too. Are you guys looking forward to Kirby? I know Nick from our community he's really and he thinks it's gonna be fine. That it'll sell really good, but I don't know, man. We'll see.
I don't know. I know Ahmed was talking to me too, and was like, "Oh my god, it looks amazing!" And like it does. It looks really good. It actually reminds me of kind of like Smash Brothers on like in a racer. Like, you know, the fact that like even the controls, like with the tilting and the way that you can do stuff, I was like, okay, I can tell it's a Sakurai game. But at the end of the day, like a racing game is still a racing game. Like I don't know. I'm really curious to see this September's Direct, guys. I am really curious because this is not at all what I thought the Switch 2 would be. Like in terms of our knowledge of Switch 2 games, I didn't think that by, like, it came out in June, right?
Yeah.
So we had June, July, August. I did not expect this. I truly did not expect to know few like games.
You know that it's not first party, but second party. Pokemon's going to carry the system for the foreseeable future. It's going to be a huge game. So I don't think they're worried, really, dude.
Oh, I don't.
Which is funny because
it's us. It's more us. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess my next Switch game is Pokemon.
Oh, thinking of which, we'll talk about it a little quick. I saw the game footage of it. You know, actually, I was initially concerned because when they did a little glimpse, but actually seeing people play it looks pretty good to me. I don't see any issues with it. So, kind of, yeah, it reminds me of the other Legends game. Virtually, I don't really see a major difference. Obviously, once we play it, we're going to have to see it. But, yeah, I don't mind it, the moving around.
Well, we're going to find out, right? We're gonna find out.
But it doesn't have player versus player, right? It's a single player game, so I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah,
personally, and I don't mind them doing that, spicing things up, you know, here and there. But I guess for player versus player, it might be a little bit too gimmicky, or I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. I wouldn't mind them trying it, but because you know they're showing that some of these games have evolved the gameplay, and it looks pretty cool, and it still has a limited moveset, so it's not like it's drastically different.
Well, that's what I want to try. I really want to see, like, I want to see the impact that this has. I'm curious.
The only biggest concern is a lot of people talked about is the game going to have enough content and be good enough to sit in one small setting of a city. Now the city's is supposed to be massive and a lot to do, but you know it might get kind of boring after a while to look at the same biome for the whole game, right? So we'll see. We'll see. I don't mind. It's a single player game, so that means you know you're going to play it, go through it, and then finish the story. Maybe do post-game grind a bit, and then you're done. It's not a type of game I don't think you would sink thousands of hours into because there's no player.
Unless you're Steven, in which case, you know. No, I'm kidding. This
I don't
one,
think he.
yeah, this one I don't think he's going
Yeah, I
to.
don't think he would. Yeah, he probably put 100 hours into it, if that. Because I don't think he put that many. Compared to other games, he didn't put as much into Legends as he
No,
did.
no, 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 no,
No,
no, no.
yeah, not
Him
even
is
close.
he's like the mainline generation dude. Hey, speaking of, you just reminded me of something else. Behind me, guys, comes out like I think it's like the week after Pokemon or 2 weeks
Oh,
after Pokemon.
the Dragon Core. Yeah, you didn't even talk about. Well, everyone knows about it, right? The HD remake. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We've talked about that ages ago. What I wanted to let everyone know, because you're seeing this on Sunday, so if you move your butts, if you buy any Dragon Quest merch from either, I think there's a pop-up store that actually happened in LA, man. You should go check that out and buy me everything. But if you buy some merch from the Square Enix USA shop, you will get a code when this game comes out for some goodies. Like there's some digital in-game goodies that they're doing. So I'm probably going to get screwed with that. I typically do because like I picked up some new chopsticks and stuff like that from the Square Enix shop just to get the code. But I often get screwed with this because if the code is identical to another code that you get as part of like the collector's edition, they usually don't double up. Because when I ordered the guide, I didn't actually get anything because it was the code was for like a traveler's kit, or I forget what the hell it's called, but I got that from the collector's edition or something. I'm probably butchering this. Maybe it was just a pre-order or something like that. But I do know that I unlocked the code. They're like, "Yeah, you have it." I couldn't download it because it was already part of my character's stuff. So I was like, "Oh well, whatever." And I have the guide pre-ordered as well. Although it's so, I don't know why Square Enix does this now, where the guide comes out 3 months after the game comes out. So
Yeah,
by the time the guide comes out, I've already completely destroyed the game. You know what I mean? Like I've done everything you can possibly do.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. So I'm like, because it's cool with with these guys. Oh, let's take a look. You're gonna love this. Oh man, they're probably so dusty.
Do you think we're gonna get more news next year for sure about the next
Oh,
mainline
I'll
Dragon
tell you.
Quest game?
So you see this?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, look.
Oh, that's cool.
Look at the
Yeah.
thickness.
Wow.
Yeah, and this one was for the 3DS version, which is still
That's so
sad,
cool.
eh, dude? I still find that sad. We never got that. Like it's sad. But anyway, Dragon Quest 12, Yuji Horii was in Europe, I want to say. Maybe it was Australia. Anyway, he was somewhere, and he was talking about the development struggles that they've had.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
okay.
I was happy. I was like, finally. And in like a roundabout sort of way, he let it be known that turn-based is what this series is. So I think that's
Okay.
calmed people like me down, where it's like part of the appeal of Dragon Quest is its traditional, like all other games have changed radically and stuff like that. But the one, well, there's two games, Pokemon and Dragon Quest, the core has remained the same and that's the appeal of Dragon Quest is like, it's like,
I see. Yeah.
like, it's like, getting into like your favorite sweater, right? Where you're like, oh, it's just perfect, type of thing.
Yeah. See, that's the difference between you. You love traditions and stuff. I mean, not that I don't, but I love progression and evolution and progression.
It's still,
I want to see games to go to the next
thing
level.
is,
You guys don't.
It still does progress. That's the thing. Like it's
Yeah.
anyway. What he was just saying was, and he even said he's like, I'm not allowed to talk at all about Dragon Quest 12. He just said that it's been a little difficult, and then the roundabout way they did it, which I thought was really sneaky of the interviewer, was like, well, what do you consider to be like the staples of a Dragon Quest game?
Oh,
and
okay.
and then
That's where he answered.
yeah,
it.
and then he was answering. He was like, "Look, you can't take yourself too serious, right? Like that is what Dragon Quest is all about." Because they were asking about like the more mature theme of Dragon Quest 12, and he was like, "At the end of the day, Dragon Quest is Dragon Quest. Like it is
Yeah,
what
it's
it
a
is."
goofy.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
goofy
So he's
and-
like, it could be more serious. And don't get me wrong, man. In Dragon Quest 10, there are parts that like will make you tear up. Like it's brutal, but it's still silly at the same time. And he was talking about the balance between you don't want to like overdo it, but it is what it is. And then he was saying that he was like to him, like harkening back to like the original like battle systems, and he said exactly what you said of like you want to constantly be progressing. You don't want to be stuck in the past. You want to have the traditions that people expect, but the modernization of that, like Zoom. Okay, so for decades and decades and decades, if you use that spell, it would teleport you to a different, place you've been before. For decades, if you were inside a house, you'd hit your head on the house. Like, and that was the point. Your reaction, that was why Yuji Horii did it. Was like, that's funny, right? Like, you can't teleport and you smash your head in the ceiling. But modern gamers, like, what happens when you're in a dungeon that takes you 2 hours to complete, right? Like, do you really want to have to manually go back outside? And so little changes like that have slowly started to make their way, where now you can zoom inside and you'll just teleport and that's the end of it. And I get that, like that to me, I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with stuff like that because I get it. Like you're not going to keep something, even though it was cute when it was introduced, look at the size of dungeons today compared to, years ago and stuff. And I just realized,
you can go out real quick and back in the day. Yeah, little things like that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, Tim. So you gotta wrap it up for us.
Well, we're at over an hour, so we'll probably talk about it. But I do want to talk about. We want to talk about today is the fact that Gamescon and the PAX games, West, East, etc., have thriving right now. But what happened to the big EA that was the mecca of all gaming? And we'll talk
E3.
about that next. E3, yeah, E3. The E3. What happened? Why did it?
Okay,
fail?
let's do that next week.
We'll do that next week because we'll definitely take because we went to a couple of E3. I used to go a lot, but Jared and I went to a couple, and it's just weird how they were unable to. And we'll talk about that next week because we're over an hour mark, and we don't want to rush through a topic and stuff like that.
So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pin it, man.
Oh, there you go.
I just pinned it. Go. Perfect. Okay.
Perfect. So we don't forget next week.
Yep. Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll have other stuff to talk about as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, guys. Well, listen, we'll catch you next week. Thanks for joining us. Peace.